Guten Abends and welcome to another episode of Top Football. My name's Gav Mack. That's Stephen Cotton. That's Ed Hall. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey. It's like I'm trying to think what TV show that would be. Is it the Brady Bunch?
Bit before
When
my
you
time,
guys
mate.
I was going to say I'm old and that's before my time as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's Gav Mack showing age. Well, you can follow us on all social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. And at Top Football. And if you didn't know already, if you put Top into Google, our name comes up first. Lovely stuff. Now, everyone has seen the headlines. So Chelsea humbled, being one of those. Spurs. There's no Everton, so there's no what are Everton. But there's the bits and bobs that are going around at the moment. So, but we'll start at the bottom of the table and have a look at what we've just seen. That was Fulham. Fulham having they thought they were having a good time and they shagged it in the last few moments. So Aston Villa winning 3-1 at home against Fulham. I'll come to you first, Cotton. Fulham, I expected a little bit more from them in this game. I thought they played well in the first half. What were your thoughts?
I honestly thought, seeing that Newcastle got a point and with Fulham's form, I mean, going into the international break, all of us said Fulham are definitely going to stay up now. Newcastle are doomed. I was expecting Fulham to come into this game revved up, amped up. Mitrovic back in the side after it's his first start since February, after scoring 5 goals in the international break for Serbia. So I was genuinely like, right, this is going to be a humdinger. And Fulham looked proper up for it, man. Proper up for it. Even before they got the first goal, which was a bit of a Tyrone Mings disaster class. But I honestly thought Fulham looked great. And when they were winning, I thought, right, they do deserve this, I think. And then Villa just grew back into the game and Fulham just capitulated big time.
Edward.
Fulham's magic seems to have run out just at the wrong moment. Up until about just before the international break, they wasn't exactly grinding out results anymore. This is a game 2 weeks ago they would have got at least a point anyway. They'll be disappointed considering the times they've conceded these goals.
Yeah, 100%. Trezeguet came off the bench with 28 minutes to go, bags of brace, and then Ollie Watkins. I mean, like one of the Trezeguet goals was pretty nice, but as Cotton alluded to before, Tyrone Mings. Now, I've dug him out a couple of times on this show, and I can't remember. I'm sure one of you guys wasn't very happy that I dug him out.
Not me, because I don't rate him.
I think the only reason why he gets picked is because he's left-footed and tall. If he wasn't left-footed and tall, he wouldn't be anywhere near that England side. If you look at the 2 centre-halves for Aston Villa, one of them is actually really good, and the other one's Tyrone Mings.
I don't think he's as bad as everyone says. I think he does a job perfectly fine.
I don't think he's as good as everyone says. I think that's the problem. Like, he's bang average, isn't he? Like, I think what Gav's saying is not that he shouldn't be starting for Villa. Like, that is his level, but him getting into England setups and stuff is just. I don't think it'll happen again, to be honest.
Shouldn't be starting for England for me. Anyone who's watching the show across any of our social media platforms, we do sit here and we chat, but feel free to throw your comments in there, on anything that we say, and we'll come back to it as well, and we'll have a good old chinwag about it. Keegan Murphy's watching, and he says hi. Hi, Keegan.
Hello.
Let's move away from that game and let's have a look at a team that benefited from this result, and that would be Newcastle, because Newcastle picked up a draw 2-2 at home to Tottenham Hotspur. They took the lead with the Ballon d'Or elect Joel Linton, before being pegged back 30 seconds after the restart by Barry Kane. Barry Kane then also got another one as well. He scored 2 in next to no time. And other than that, it was all Newcastle led.
Do you feel, though, that, it was all Newcastle? Tottenham seem to have gave up on a drive for the season, though. I don't think they realistically believe they can do anything but the League Cup. Newcastle needed this. They were always going to give 100% more effort than Tottenham Hotspur, regardless of the players they've got on the pitch. Newcastle, though, were still pretty poor in some aspects. I mean, that first goal I mean, it's a great goal, but you need to fucking watch your defenders then. What do you think?
You can't be. You've just scored. They're taking centre. You know, the next 5 minutes are key. The next 5-10 minutes are key. Shouldn't be shipping a goal straight away like that. No way, no way. I mean, I just want to know what it was. Emil Kraft who was in front of Dubravka. What's he doing? Just put your foot through it, son.
Yeah, like he tries to play a pass, or if it's a clearance, where's it going? Well, like you said, put your foot through it. There's no need to be. It doesn't even matter. Like if that was if it was first versus second or whatever. But when you're in a relegation fight and you need you are 1-0 up against Tottenham, like push it, like punching above your weight, just deal with stuff, get on with it. But you know what's happened. They've scored. Heads have gone a bit fuzzy. Like they're all a bit happy. They're all like, "Oh, come on, lads," and then just not paid attention. It's lucky deflection that's come back to Kane for pretty much a tap in on the line. But I mean, you've got to score what's in front of it, haven't you?
I think the second goal though was pretty shiny. The whole move, Lo Celso. I can't remember who got the flick on after Lo Celso put the ball through. I know it was Ndombele, wasn't it? And then to Lo Celso with the tidy toes, and then to Kane with goal to make it 2-1. Sorry. The irony of an Arsenal loanee getting the equaliser in the shape of Joe Willock to make it 2 apiece. Does this mean Steve Bruce in?
I don't know. Do you know what? Newcastle looked great today. If they would have played like that all season, they wouldn't be anywhere near this situation. And as I was just about to say that Gavin Rickett there has just alluded to, Tottenham should have lost. Newcastle should have won this game. I don't buy into the XG stats, but the XG for this game was like Tottenham 2, Newcastle 4.6 or something, which is the highest.
They had 20 shots though, didn't they?
Yeah, it's like the highest XG that Newcastle have had in the Premier League, which is mad. But yeah, Newcastle look fired up. Bruce in, but I think that's not the managerial story. I mean, the story is Mourinho dropping points again. His comments after the game are really telling of a Mourinho third season meltdown. I know he's only in his second, but he's not long for this world. And the issue is Tottenham wouldn't be anywhere without Kane. But we've said it every show we talk about now. We literally say about Kane has to go. Kane, he's done. It's done. He's got to go. There's no ifs or buts, whatever. Kane will go. And then what? What are Tottenham realistically left with? Because the football they're playing is terrible. The attitude and application of some of the players looks like nobody actually cares. And then, so Mourinho's comments, if you haven't heard him after the game, they brought up his... they brought up his defensive record or something at previous clubs and how he used to be good. And basically his response was same coach, different players. So he's basically said, I'm still good. I'm still good. It's the Spurs players here that are the ones not doing
the arrogance that he
so,
has, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
I mean, to be fair, Twitter today has been a lot of Jose out. And I know our friend Stu, and long-time watcher of the show and listener of the show, Stu, has had a bit of a full tirade about Jose out today, which was listen, we warned you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, yeah, you've got first-hand experience of that. You know, Ed and I, we're lucky enough to have not been anywhere near that car crash. But in a weird way, when Emery left Arsenal, I actually wanted Mourinho to come in until the end of the season, just to shore things up. Because when he first starts in a job, he knows how to shore things up and just keep things tight, or as tight as possible if he's got the personnel good enough, you know. And I think Arsenal, man for man, I don't think are that bad. I actually think we've got a half-decent squad. I just don't think the direction's right. So someone like Mourinho, short-term, before ruining his career, ruining careers of players, I think would have done a half-decent job. So with this being the second season, I expected Tottenham to crack on this year. I mean,
it looks like they might have at the start of the season. I certainly got them vibes off Tottenham. Despite how poor Mourinho's doing, they probably hoped he'd come in and win some instant silverware. Still well and truly good with the League Cup. But I think they've been very much aware of their Harry Kane situation, and they needed to bring in a born winner. they've got one of the best strikers in world football. And I don't know how you could argue that, regardless of what you think of Harry Kane, because of maybe what team he plays for. But Harry Kane was still brilliant today, despite how bad Tottenham was. You know, he picks up the 2 goals. He's like top of assists still, I think just ahead of Bruno Fernandes. He went briefly joint top scorer before the Liverpool game happened. Harry Kane will leave Tottenham Hotspur at the end of this year. When you take Harry Kane out of that team, they're already just a top 6 club. You take Harry Kane out of that team, where do they fall into?
Yeah, do you know, I mean, like, I don't think it matters who you support. If you can't respect Harry Kane and what he does in terms of the level of goals, well, people will moan and be like, oh, you know, he dives around a little bit. So does Mo Salah. So does Jamie Vardy. But his goals, you can't deny that. The guy is world class.
He's world class.
Don't matter what team support.
I would go out on a limb here, yeah, and this might be a bit of a hot take. Other than Liverpool and City, because I think that's just aside, I genuinely think Tottenham have player for player the best squad in the Prem, other than City. You could even argue Liverpool. You could even argue Liverpool for Tottenham player for player. You could argue maybe, but no. I'd say outside of them two, Tottenham player for player.
Even Chelsea.
Maybe not since the money spent. Okay, fair enough. But okay, take them 3 teams out of it. I'd say Tottenham do. But
they're fourth.
But they're not
Leicester.
even. They're not.
They're not in the top 4, are they?
No, exactly.
No.
I mean, Arsenal win a couple of games, and I mean, they've lost to Arsenal. Sorry, I'm just saying.
They have got a better team than Leicester, like, on paper. If you think of the front 3, like Son, Kane, I know Leicester have got Iheanacho in form at the minute. Vardy's playing well.
Look at their midfield and look at their back 4, and then look at their goalkeeper. I'd have a Leicester side over Spurs all day.
Yeah,
the Spurs ship has sailed. The Spurs ship has sailed. The one that from like the 15-16 and 16-17 season, when they had like Toby and Vertonghen, Danny Rose on form. Kyle Walker, then Kieran Trippier. I look at that Spurs side, Dembele. I look at that Spurs side and think, yeah, this team should go on and fight and do something special, and they didn't. So it's going to need another rebuild, as far as I'm concerned. Do you not see that?
Yeah, as far as rebuilds go, I've got a question for you, and this is a question for everyone watching and like. Posting the comments and what we're watching. Who leaves Tottenham first, Kane or Jose? Because one of them goes before the other. I'm telling you now.
I think they go the same week, but I couldn't tell you which one goes first, because the Erling Haaland move is going to start a striker merry-go-round.
Yeah.
And that Neymar, a bit like the Neymar move at the time.
Yeah. It's gonna cause something.
That Haaland move will trigger, like you said, the merry-go-round. After that Haaland move, I'm thinking Jovic, Andre Silva, Icardi. There will be so many of that, like that style forward will be moving between clubs, because everyone will be moving people on. It's going to be a big one.
And Mbappe can move a year later as well. I think that will trigger. I think 12 months after that'll happen, but I think that will have a knock-on effect into Kylian going somewhere.
Yeah,
probably Real Madrid.
Why not Sentinels watching via Twitch said big up to the lads who were listening on his walk. Appreciate that. He just mentioned though, Ndombele was good today. Let's not forget, and Joe Linton banter. No, Ndombele, as we're starting to see the Ndombele that they signed, the reason why they signed him.
Yeah,
I honestly believe that, but I don't think he's at the right club.
To be fair, Tottenham is still 5th, level on points with Liverpool, only 2 points behind Chelsea. I know Leicester have just lost, granted that's to City, so that's a write-off. Tottenham, well easily, with the amount of games you've got left, could get in that top 4.
Of course they can, but I think it's a false position for them. They had that run of 4 wins on the spin just before they played against Arsenal, but these wins were against like Burnley, Sheffield United, these sort of teams. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, but I'd rather lose Harry Kane with Champions League football to offer someone than not even finish in the Europa League and lose one of the best strikers in the world. Because who do you replace him with then?
Oh, can they get Janssen back?
You're looking more like Danny Ings then, because surely Danny Ings would see that as a step up. I don't see you going continental and getting some really top talent if you're not in the Champions League. 100%. I can't see that.
Talk about Danny Ings. He bagged today.
Yay!
3-2 against Burnley. Now, that point for Newcastle and the points dropped by Fulham, I think has saved your skin a little bit there, Ed, because Burnley were well within the mix then.
Oh, no, I agree. I still didn't believe I saw Southampton in a relegation battle. But if you did, and if Southampton fans were starting to feel that, Gav, you yourself mentioned that they well and truly could be. And mathematically, they was. I was just looking at the pedigree of players they have. This win today has to confirm it to everyone that they're not going to get relegated. This is purely form-based. I mean, Burnley was still cracking, started so well. But this Southampton side showed fight. And then you actually remembered that you do have fantastic players playing for you. Danny Ings was on fire today, but he wasn't the only one. I don't know what you lot think.
Armstrong, man, I
he's
love
brilliant.
that guy. He is so sick, man. Honestly, I think when I do my underrated team of the year, he's one of my players that coming in here.
He can strike a ball.
He hands down starts in my underrated team of the year.
Mm-hmm.
He's got so much flair. I think if his name was Armstrong Inchy, people will all be banging on about him and he'll be making a big move to somewhere. But because his name is it's Stuart, isn't it? Stuart Armstrong. Hasn't really got that.
I love him. He came through that Dundee United squad that I was in love with at the time. It was like 2014, where I say it all the time. It was David Goodwillie, it was Armstrong, it was Templeton. It was like Nadia Shifty. There was some crazy. Dundee had such a crazy good squad, and he was part of it. But yeah, Southampton today were, and I hate to bring it up all the time. Well, we don't bring it up all the time, but they must be sick of hearing it. Look, this is a team that lost 9-0 twice, right? Or conceded 9, in 2 seasons. To this season, to concede 9 goals, and this is still the fight that they're putting in games when they're 2-0 behind. It's great to see. Like, they could have easily, at 2-0 down against Burnley, they could have just capitulated, just gone, we're losing this, like, whatever. But they just didn't stop whatsoever. And it wasn't just one player for Southampton that had a good game. The whole squad, all 11 were absolutely cracking today. Both goalkeepers, I would say as well. Both goalkeepers pulled off some ridiculous saves in this game. Taylor, the big boys, because Forster's
6'7",
8. I know Pope's 6'7".
They're both considerably taller than I am.
Yeah, they're both very, very, very tall lads. Yeah, there was some great goalkeeping on display. But yeah, Southampton. It's crazy that we're saying after last season and the start of this season. It's crazy we're saying, they're safe, aren't they?
They've fried a lot of brains. I think they have. We were talking that they were never going to win the league, but Leicester did it. So then it's like if they keep going
European
like this,
football, maybe could have got the Europa League if they carried on the way they did.
Could they come sixth?
European football was never out of the question when they were doing well, but I mean it is now.
Not looking good. Why did it take so long to make the decision on VAR for the penalty? The
first one. There was only one, wasn't there? So,
the Walker Peters challenge.
I don't know.
It was pretty black and white.
I think they were looking for.
I
think on commentary they said that they were looking for something in the bit, just like in the build-up, to make sure there was no foul or offside in the build-up or whatever. I
think VAR has been much better of late. I think maybe we might be just numb and we're not raising it as much. But I'm just not that bothered by it now. But I just feel like I'm not talking about it as much.
Ed, the international break was so dry that I will take bad VAR decisions.
That's probably why, because I just didn't watch the England games and then pretended to, because I just looked at the score. I was like, great from him.
Mark.
From England, man.
Mark had a good game, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I've got a money spider on my thing.
Burnley. What were we saying about Burnley?
There you go. Right. So Burnley, they fluffed their lines. As simple as that. You 2-0 up, you're cruising. The second goal, people say, Burnley, long ball, classic long ball. I'm sorry. If that was a Van Dijk long ping to Mo Salah, everyone would be saying, look at the vision.
You know about the Vidra goal? Is it Vidra? Is that
yeah.
To be fair, I thought it was a great goal, but I thought it was much further than the goalkeeper until I saw the replay, and I was like, I think the goalkeeper could have at least made him struggle a bit with that one. Not in terms of pressing him, but the ball actually went straight at him, and he just scrambled.
Pretty much, yeah. I think it moved a little bit, but
I was
just
more
the way
impressed with the
Ben Mee
movement.
turned his body, and he went looking for Chris Wood. It wasn't just a hit and hope. That
You
was
reckon?
a cultured pass. Yeah, honestly, when he turns on it and looks up and looks at Chris Wood, that is played perfectly. As I said, if that was a ball by, I love that sound. If that was a ball by Van Dijk to Mo Salah, or back in the day, a couple of years ago, when Toby Alderweireld would always play these balls to Dele Alli to find Kane, we'd all be talking about it. So, oh, look at that vision. What a wonderful crossfield pass. You know, some people will call it long ball, but it's
Do
not.
you remember
it's
how
long
sought
ball.
after
It's
Alderweireld?
Burnley, it's long ball.
We'll call it long ball because it's Burnley, but yeah, Ed. When I think United for two seasons we tried to get out of RL. 2 seasons
He was
we tried
quality.
to get him, and then his contract was running out. And was it Mourinho was like, "Nah, I don't want him," and then he signed the new deal, and it was
But then he would have just been another Schweinsteiger or something, because he would have just turned up to Man United. We would have went brilliant. Could he just whip in past it instantly? Because it's about that time. Yeah.
Oh, Schneidlin.
Redmond completed the comeback halfway through the second half. Jamaican international upcoming. So watch out for the Reggae Boys World Cup 2022.
Top shotters.
100%. It's going to be so sick. Can't wait. But yeah, Southampton, we're saying they're safe now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
I think everyone's safe. I think the only people that are going to get sucked into it, I think, are Newcastle, and even then, I think they might just squeak it now.
Fair. I just want to sort of go back a little bit before we go on to Saturday's games, back to a game that we've already covered, because I just remembered about penalty situation in the Villa Fulham game, just on the stroke of half time. Was it John McGinn?
No, it was Ollie Watkins.
Ollie Watkins, sorry.
It was Lamina on Watkins.
Yes. So there's 2 in there. And they were looking at the wrong one, as far as I was concerned, because the second one, Lamina, what a beautiful tackle. He's timed it brilliantly. And you can tell by the direction that the ball went that it's not a pen.
But
what about the one before?
Not at first, not like when I saw it in full speed, like regardless of the ball, I was like, it's a penalty. Why is he dived in like that? He's just not paying attention. Then they showed the replay, and I thought, great tackle. But yeah, like the first one, he's just all over him, isn't he? He's not paying attention to the ball. He just, I don't know why. I'd be curious to see if they do come out and say that they spent too much time looking on the wrong one or whatever. But the Lamina one, there was really good work by the officials to not actually give it for that one. Irregardless of what happened before, that is VAR used right, because I thought I watched that replay like 3 times. I was like, it's penalty. Then they show it from there's just one angle where you see they have to slow it down, but he just gets to the ball. Then you see the ball spin off, and it's like, all right, okay, well done. Yeah. This is literally what it's here for. Well done. That's VAR 1 against football 64. It's 64-1. Well done, VAR. You've got 1 back.
There's no harm in getting a late consolation.
Yeah, but away goals are worth 2, Cotton. So.
Oh yeah, true.
No, there were 63. There were 63 in this case. So it's 64 all. Right then, Ed is a happy man after Liverpool turned up to the Emirates and got a 3-0 victory. So Ed, your away form this season has been pretty damn shiny. I wish this game was at Anfield.
Yeah, I was glad it was away. I still was concerned that it would at worst have been a draw, because we still don't look too polished up front. It seems to be every time Jota steps onto the pitch, then the floodgates open. It was still 0-0, bear in mind, before the second half. But still, from maybe the first 5 minutes, I thought Arsenal were going to give us a game. It was very, very easily. Arsenal just watched us in the hope that we'd make a mistake and you'd be able to capitalise on it. But we didn't. I don't think it was the best performance I've seen all year from us, but it was certainly good enough to get the 3 points, because Arsenal didn't give us much of a challenge. For us, before we go into Arsenal, it's fantastic, because now we're only 2 points behind Chelsea, when it felt like we were 200 a couple of weeks ago. And you take that and put it in line with the Champions League run against a Real Madrid side, which ain't the best. You've got an interesting end to the season for Liverpool. And, you now got teams like Tottenham, Leicester, Chelsea, fighting that top 4th spot with a team who were champions, reigning champions of the Premier League. So, you get a few players back and you'd probably bet some good money on Liverpool to do it. But to Arsenal, poor.
Oh, God, mate. I want to wax lyrical about Liverpool within reason as well, because Fabinho being back in the middle, how important is he in midfield, man? He dominated midfield and kept Odegaard very, very quiet, because Odegaard was showing a bit of form of late as well. So I think it was important to have eyes on him. But it's just, the movement between him, Milner, and Thiago worked. I'm in that WhatsApp group with a load of Liverpool fans, and I said going forwards that I would go back to playing Fabinho at centre half when everyone's fit. Everybody's fit. Go back to playing Fabinho centre half, and then having a midfield 3 of Thiago, Henderson, and Keita. What do you think?
No, Fabinho's the best CDMs in world football. He just does a good job at centre back. I think you're taking him out of his natural position. I said don't judge Thiago and what he's doing at the moment, because Fabinho's not next to him. Once he doesn't have to do that hard graft work and he can just relax at the top end of the field much better, he's a much more dominant player. I wouldn't know why I'd have him at centre back.
Gav, I think we even did a show that when Fabinho just signed for Liverpool, and I was absolutely devastated because he was like the main reason Monaco did what they did. Chelsea went in for Bakayoko and they brought the wrong player. They should have gone for Fabinho. Like you said, he's the best CDM in the Prem by far. World football, there's only maybe 1 or 2 that you could say are just as good or better. Incredible. But we're going back to Arsenal quickly. I don't think I've ever seen counter-attacking football where there's no attack.
It's true.
It genuinely was like you won the ball back, and then it was like, you have it back. Like it was almost like you wanted Liverpool just to have the ball. It was unreal. Like there was no options. Aubameyang was playing left wing back most of the game, and there was no. I'll tell you, the main problem was
Aubameyang was playing.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, there was no out ball. There was no out ball whatsoever. The minute you got the ball, it was panic, panic, panic. And this wasn't even the Liverpool of a year ago that would have they'd have completely destroyed you. They were still
4-0 in size 15 minutes.
Exactly. I just couldn't. Not that I couldn't believe what I was seeing from Arsenal. I just couldn't understand it. I literally was watching it and I just didn't understand. And I know certain managers get dug out for not having a style or not having a system. I watched that game yesterday, and I know it's Liverpool, but I genuinely couldn't see what Arsenal were trying to do with the ball. Like I said, if you're just playing a counter-attacking style, cool, then break. Like there was no breaking. It was absolutely mystifying to watch.
Watching Arsenal play like that makes me embarrassed that we've got someone so good like Thomas Partey in our midfield.
Mm-hmm.
He does all the right things, but looks like he's doing jack all because there's no outlet. So he wins the ball, he pirouettes, and he passes, and there's someone who stood there on their feet going, "Oh yeah, I didn't realise you were meant to be passing it to me. Sorry, mate." And it just makes him look so poor. One person who was missing yesterday, and I know I'll get dug out by Arsenal fans, was Granit Xhaka. Games like yesterday show how important he is to the midfield, and it allows Partey to be a little bit more expansive.
Mm-hmm.
Granit Xhaka will make a catastrophic error in a game. At least 1 in 2 games will make a catastrophic error. Yeah, but that's one error. He's not error prone. He will have a wonderful 89 minutes. All this bull crap of, he's just a sideways passer, a sideways merchant. He's passing the ball backwards all the time. Do you actually watch football, or do you, just scroll through Twitter and just see what other people are saying and hop on a bandwagon? Who's mad popular said it, so I'm going to agree with it.
I mean, first of all, that's literally his job, is to break up play and redistribute the ball, but safely. So, I mean, that is literally...
That's how people used to dig out Jordan Henderson for the exact same thing.
That is what he's supposed to do. Like, that is why you have 3 midfielders. So you usually have your ball winner, your box-to-box, and your creative. So Xhaka's the ball winner, and then he gives the ball to one of those creative players. Like...
It's not hard, is it?
I know, but like the perfect example just came to mind, right? So like, I was going to say Roy Keane, but even Kante, for those that don't remember that far back, Kante doesn't have a 70-yard diagonal in his locker every time.
No.
He's had some nice assists, so I'm not saying he can't pass the ball, but Kante breaks up play and moves the ball on to the next player who will then go and do something with it. You don't have to be prime Paul Scholes with tackling to be a good defensive or to be a good central midfielder. It's crazy. I actually don't think Jack has been that bad this season.
I think Jack has been great this season.
Yeah, exactly.
And regardless of what anyone thinks, he has been great this season. Oh, but what about that mistake he made? Yes, that's what I'm saying. He will make a mistake. He will make a mistake in that game. And normally when he does make a mistake, it's in the first couple of minutes, most of the time. And then he has a wonderful 89 minutes, and off he goes into the sunset.
Gareth,
And,
maybe you can tell
about.
me, what position was Aubameyang actually? Like, what was his position? Was he actually playing when the game started? What was he on the team?
So I mean, we started the game with 10 men.
On that lineup, was he at the top? Was he playing striker?
Well, we came back. We came back to having 11 men on the pitch when on the 76th minute.
When Aubameyang was taken off.
What I want to know is, was he playing striker, then he dipped down, or was he literally playing left wing back?
I don't know.
Because Aubameyang's 31, he can only play striker. There's no way in hell.
Or left wing.
I don't even think he can play left wing anymore. His
There was two players that actually had half decent game for Arsenal yesterday. One of them was Partey, and the other one was Pepe. And the thing is with Pepe, he was the only player for Arsenal that tried to make something happen. But any time he was out on the right-hand side, he was isolated. He did his normal thing, cutting inside. Pepe's best few games that he had in a row this season when he was playing wide left, we put him wide left when Aubameyang was going through his whatever, and we had Saka wide right. And it looked good. It looked good. We got unlucky in games with, a few defensive errors and things like that. But he was the only person that tried to make something work. And if you've only got 1/1.5 players that are trying to, encourage some level of intrigue in a game, then who do you look at? And I think that's when you sort of have to go back and have a look at the manager, who came out afterwards and said, tactically, we got it wrong. The first 25 minutes, out the first 45 minutes, I think it was okay. We were in a game and we were restricting Liverpool to having shots from 25 yards out. And I was thinking, man, if Liverpool are struggling today, they have to just pop it from 25 yards out. This is mad. But yeah, Jota. Anyway, big shout to Jota anyway, because
go
on.
No, it was just, I thought we were moving on. So carry on talking about Jota, but I just wanted to say one thing before we moved on from the game.
Yeah. Diogo Jota, you can't put this on until he physically enters the field of play. But first goal scorer, he was 15-2. So thank you very much, Diogo Jota. You did help me out somewhat yesterday. Go on.
All I was going to say, and again, it's not me just being a bit of red or whatever, but obviously, all they talked about through the whole entire game, well, Trent's not playing for England. It's all they banged down about, right? One goal from a very good cross. We know Trent can cross. That's never been questioned, yeah? And Martin Tyler's literally like, why is Southgate not picking him? Oh! I thought Martin Tyler was literally gonna pop, right? And it's like every time, anything could have happened in that game, and it'd have been like, oh, Trent. And it's like when I say I'm going to do it really quickly, I'm going to do it really quickly. Trent Alexander-Arnold, isn't playing left back for England because he can't defend. The way England play, the left back or the left wing back needs to be able to defend. Game over. Doesn't matter. I don't care how good he can cross the ball. There's no way. Right back. Sorry. There's no way he's a better defender than Reece James. No way he's a better defender than Wan-Bissaka. It was just absolutely driving me mental that everyone thinks it's bizarre that he's been dropped. He's not even been good for Liverpool in the last few months. So yeah. There's that.
Ed, there was a question from Erhan. He said Firmino has to become number 10 full time. I personally don't agree with that.
Well,
you're a Liverpool
Firmino
fan.
naturally is a number 10, and he's always that's why his transition to that false 9 was near enough perfect. He's never been a striker, but the numbers are still important. As proven this year, if no one else is banging, the guy who's technically playing up front needs to start scoring goals. He's referring to the part where we had all 4 on the pitch at one time. And when you have a team like Arsenal who are allowing you so much of the ball, you can do that. It's not really sustainable in a 90-minute game against a well-structured team, City, for example.
Anyone else other than Arsenal, pretty much.
Well, no, you can still enforce it. It might be good in the final 20 minutes of a game because you can sustain it for a period. But after a while, the midfield's going to get overrun. And it looks very, very good. And Firmino falling back into that number 10 role is what he played up until he was about 25, 26. He's naturally that sort of player. So it's a tactic we can go on to use, but I'm not calling for us to use a front 4 per se, like we did with but they did have some similarities of when Coutinho was behind Mane, Salah and Firmino.
Coutinho will come back and do a lot more work though, won't he? Like if you were to play him as an outright number 10, for me, you're losing a midfielder.
Firmino was a centre forward, and he was a centre forward in the Bundesliga as well. That's how he operated there. He came to Liverpool as a centre forward or a 9. He never was a 10, and like we've just said,
he's never prolific though, was he?
I don't think he was.
He's like 1 in 4 guy.
I think also if you had him as a 10 and you basically told him to just do the job of stay in the box, that restricts Salah and Mane to keep cutting in, because when they come in, one of them has to come back out. So that's what Firmino does well, where he'll see one of them do that, so he'll drop to the other side or do whatever. Whereas if you just pigeonholed him and went, right, mate, you're Mitrovic, stand there, wait for a cross, you lose that Mane and Salah interchange. So you just it just wouldn't work, I don't think.
I think Diogo Jota, and I'm not just saying this because it's informed, because I never would have predicted this at the start. He was a player I respected. But since he signed for Liverpool, internationally, even when he plays, internationally, he's looked an absolute beast. I mean, I didn't realise how highly looked at he is in Portugal until obviously he was a Liverpool player and I've took more notice of him. I think we actually might have bought someone who's going to turn into something very, very good here. I mean, he's 24. He's not even at his peak yet. I'm looking at Jota going, I'll tell you what, we might have signed you at the right time.
Ed, do you think it's getting to the point now where you should be looking at starting Jota, Salah and Mane? Like
we already have. We were forced to do that when Firmino got injured. The only reason Jota didn't start was because of Firmino's completely fresh because he was injured. He couldn't go on international. So that was more about using fresh legs. Mane didn't go to, or one of them didn't go to international football. Salah did. He will start against Real Madrid. Put it this way, if we're playing Real Madrid, I want Jota starting. If Liverpool play Man City, I play Firmino, because I've never seen Firmino play a bad game against Man City. He just times it just right. He allows the space for Mane and Salah. But it's added another tactical move for Liverpool. Granted, you give me front 3, it's got to be Jota, because Jota's actually peaking. The other two might be in their prime, and it might just really dip off now with Mane and Salah. Probably not this year, but you understand what I'm saying in terms of age. I'm glad we've got him. He's a fantastic player, and I think he is pushing Firmino out the team. But it doesn't mean I want Firmino gone.
Fair dues. Right. Before move on, why not sentence said? Douglas Luiz or Basuma, there's better players than Xhaka. I think every club needs a shit house at the centre of the park.
Douglas Luiz doesn't deserve to be in the names of those people at all. He's not that great for Villa.
No.
I'm surprised no one's going in for Gini besides Barcelona.
I'm shocked at that as well.
Yeah, and it's on a free. Maybe his wages are going to be too big because he will be a free transfer, so people are staying away a little bit.
He's worth it, man.
What is worth it is the faces of Chelsea fans yesterday. Chelsea 2, West Bromwich Albion 5. Can you believe it? 1-0 up after 27 minutes. 4-1 down at one point. This is a shit show. I can't put it any other way. For Chelsea Football Club, a team that haven't conceded a goal in 12 hours of football.
12 years.
Only conceded 2 goals since Tuchel has taken over. Conceded 5 in one game. And technically for 48 minutes of football.
Oh, is that me hearing that Thiago Silva's old and a fraud and that he just
Oh,
can't
sorry.
keep up with the
I
pace
felt
of
that
the
coming
league?
through as well.
Did you hear that as
honestly.
well? Oh, it must have just
Yeah.
been cross lines or something. Yeah, I
He
mean,
just doesn't like playing against West Brom. He
no,
looked shocking.
does
Remember the 3-3 game
not.
at the
Yeah.
beginning of the season?
To be fair though, Chelsea would not have lost this game had he not been sent off. I have no doubt about that. As soon as that first goal went in, I was like, "This is just going to be routine." Honestly,
A
I
couple of
don't
those West
think.
Brom moves at Barcelona-esque though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, no. The goals were fantastic, but you can't lie. Once you've been given the space, and once Chelsea's heads have dropped, I mean, it's a criticism of Chelsea's mentality. The goals were stunning, Barcelona-esque, but come on, like I have no doubt Chelsea still would have won this game. Certainly not have conceded 5 goals. I know it's West Brom, but Chelsea have done fantastic since Tuchel's turned up, and it's just a reminder to them: you're not as good as you might think right now. But I wouldn't read into this and go, well, Chelsea are back to basics now. Frank Lampard's going to be in his ivory tower, pissing himself laughing. Chelsea are still, favourites for a Champions League semi-final, and they're not that far off Leicester. They can still get third. But yeah, West Brom, love you.
Every time, honestly, every time West Brom countered, it wasn't even a case of, you were just assuming they were going to score. Every single time they countered, you're like, here we go. Here we go again. And there was some really nice goals in there. Was it the equaliser?
Callum Robinson's first goal.
Who scored the lob?
On the
was
volley.
The volley. Ooh, side foot volley as well. Mendy just doesn't even know what to do. But yeah, there was some crazy goals. I still don't think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be enough for West Brom to put a run together and save theirs and Big Sam's reputation. But it was just nice to see Chelsea get pumped 5. Mate, they've conceded 8 goals against West Brom in 2 games this season.
I know.
That is mental.
Callum Robinson, friend of mine, he has only scored in the Premier League against Chelsea.
All 5 of them. All 5 goals are against Chelsea.
A brace here, a brace at the beginning of the season, and
he's looking to
a
replace
singular one for he probably is for Sheffield United last season. In fact, his first ever Premier League goal came for Sheffield United against Chelsea in a victory last season. So I was really impressed with Diagne as well. I thought he looked the part yesterday.
Do you know who didn't look the part yesterday? And his confidence is that low. And obviously his miss during the international break for Germany, which was absolutely scandalous. The second Chelsea goal, you're not telling me there is another striker in world football while the whole right-hand side of the goal is open and the ball is coming to him. There's no way you're telling me no striker doesn't just tap that into an empty net. Werner stops, does a little Cruyff turn, stops, then passes the ball for someone to tap it in. Like,
I'm not being funny. That pass was a little bit weak as well. Mount still had work to do.
It's like it's all well and good that he'll get an assist, and if Chelsea would have won that game, then you could have spun it a little differently and been like you do in Football Manager when it's like, well, he offers a lot more to the team. Like he's got an assist, like it's his link-up play. But there's no excusing it, man. Oh my God, 1-0 Brighton. Great save by Henderson. Danny Welbeck, mate. Oh my God.
Prime Welbeck.
Prime Welbeck. But yeah, Chelsea, look, every team is allowed a blip. Liverpool got pumped 7-2 at the beginning of the season. Chelsea just got pumped 5-2. Doesn't mean it's not the defining moment of your season. And for me, Chelsea will still finish top 4.
I think it is a blip, and I think it's a kick up the arse, one that was rightly needed. They were well deserving of the arrogance which settled in. They were playing so well. But it's nothing more than a blip. I can't believe it's anything more than a blip. They will now realise, oh crap, Tottenham and Liverpool are right behind us. We need to focus on catching Leicester because these other 2 could easily sneak into the 4th spot if we're not careful. You want Leicester to be there. I want to go back to that comment he's just put up about that one there, Gav. Not that I mean to bite. I think it's quite a ludicrous statement to think Liverpool never would have come back. If any, you look at the players that they've been struggling to score. Jota comes back, scored 3 goals in 2 games. They've got Van Dijk and Joe Gomez and Joel Matip on the sidelines. They've got plenty of high pedigree talent coming in. I don't think Liverpool ever left. I think when Fabinho's gone into midfield, They've beat Leipzig twice. They've beat Wolves and they've beat Arsenal. Conceded 0 goals, by the way, in that time.
It's annoying because everyone's going banging on saying, "Oh, Kabak, what a steal! He's shit." Yesterday
fair,
against
though,
Arsenal, he had nothing. He had nothing to do. Zero.
Very good in them other 3 games, though, and I'll admit that. I don't think he's been a steal. He's 21. He's 21. He's been playing top football. I know he's been in that Schalke side, but he's been playing top level football for a long time in that centre back position. And I've seen him. I've watched him closely since he's joined. He does makes a lot of good choices, and I haven't seen like a major cock up in him just yet. He might. I'm not saying he's an expensive. You're our resident Bundesliga.
We just watched it for a year and a half. Just watched it for a year and a half. A highlight reel.
Terrible team. You put him in a terrible team. No way.
Yeah, but you can always look at teams that have someone like that are shit that will still have someone who performs. And it's like,
was he not that spark? Wasn't he not that player when Schalke were fighting near the top end of the table?
No.
Because I'll tell you what, you put a centre back at 21 years old in a club like Liverpool who has the resources, the coaching, the better players around him. You can't define a player on that being in that Schalke team. You wouldn't have known how terrible I was if I was in that Schalke team because everyone else was just as crap.
All 3 of us would have got a start in that Schalke team as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Cotton's in hot form, scored no goals in 100 appearances. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I don't really think there's much more to add on Chelsea. West Brom, they're 8 points adrift from safety now. It's for me, it's just a touch too late. They should have, started pulled 8.
Don't they have Newcastle soon,
before? So I'll have a look at their next few fixtures. They've got Southampton next. And that is a week Monday. Then they've got Leicester away. Then they've got Villa away. Wolves at home. Then Arsenal away. Yeah, it's not good. And then they've got Liverpool at home. West Ham away, who might need that win to finish top 4. And then Leeds. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't pick up another point. In fact, they'll pick up a point against Southampton.
I don't think West Brom are going to stay up by any stretch. I might slightly have an inch of belief if they win the next game. But it's a little bit too much of a mountain to climb, surely.
Cotton, you can't see it, can you?
See what, West Brom staying up? No way.
If Allardyce does that, though, he can never manage a team again. Like, just
if
leave
he does
it at
that,
that point.
The guy deserves a knighthood.
Yeah, just walk off knockout, just go, just that's it, done.
Exactly. Drop the point and then just walk out.
Order a pie. Leicester 0, Man City 2. This was a very comprehensive victory, if I'm honest. 2 goals were disallowed for offside either side. But this is Man City just putting everything in motion, ready for the trophy lift in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep, definitely. Well, Man City's season's over domestically.
Next 3 it was 4 games, but obviously if we lose this today, City only needs to win 3 more. So
yeah,
that's it.
Are you actually 1-0 down, or did it get disallowed?
Yeah, legit. Yeah,
it should have been disallowed because although the ball didn't touch him, the referee actually comes across Fred and blocks off Fred so he can't get to the ball and just lets him play on. So which is
good defending, mate.
Absolutely great. It's Mike Dean.
There was a situation like that in this game, I believe, with the Sergio Aguero, which I thought was actually probably the right decision, but I might have gave that. Still, I didn't think Aguero was impeding the goalkeeper too much.
Yeah,
he was directly in the line, right?
Yeah, no.
Not having that. It's a nice hit though.
It was a nice strike from you don't expect that from Fernandinho, do you? But then again, City defensive players have been known to score some crackers from long distance against Leicester, haven't they? But
come on, there was no need for that. There's no need for that.
But don't worry about it. You made up for it with the following year, so
and this year.
Welcome to winning a title.
And I got kicked out of the Working Men's Club for that goal.
Yeah, I remember hearing.
Yeah, it was the first time I ever watched a game.
Do you mean you have something in common now?
Yeah. I didn't know how strict the rules were because it's all old boys and company just sticks one in from 50 yards as a centre back, and I'm like, I want to go. And then it's like, do you know where you are? This isn't town. This isn't some like.
This isn't the lumber tubs.
Yeah, this is no Wetherspoons. Yeah, it was wild scenes, but yeah.
Wow scenes. Jesus, I thought was brilliant yesterday.
He was all right.
I mean, are we leaning into some Easter joke? Are you trying to make me cross? Or what? I mean, what's going
on? I think he's resurrected his career.
Yes!
Egg. Can we just say that
performance from
Benjamin Mendy's goal is absolutely nuts for a player that usually looks like he plays in denim and Timbs, man. Like he just took that and just cut inside and just finessed it in like he'd been doing it his whole life.
What is it with left backs cutting inside and pigging goals in with their wrong pegs this season?
I don't know, but it was a nice goal. City, just like Ed said, they're just an absolute behemoth this season, man. Like they're steamrolling, and I reckon if you go back when we were top of the table and City were just going on their run, and I was like, don't worry about it. They're not just going to win every game from here on out.
They won every game.
pretty. Apart from United,
is that 15 or 16 straight away victories now for
15
them as well?
at 15.
Yeah, it's
it's definitely 15. Really, I remember him saying it with Pep on the screen.
Crazy stuff. Yeah. I can't believe it.
And they haven't even got a decent striker, which is the wildest thing.
Well, that's the thing. I thought Jesus was brilliant yesterday. He was like doing the job of a complete forward. You know, he's making runs in the channels. He was cutting in and behind. He was coming deep to win the ball. He was playing off the shoulder. And the finish was good as well. You know what I mean? So I thought, and Leicester ain't slouches. Do you know what I mean? If this was the performance against West Brom, not West Brom because they're really good now, against Sheffield United, then it would be like, wow, yeah, but it's only Sheffield United, isn't it? You know, Leicester in the top four.
Yeah,
they put in a performance. Can
we talk about Aguero for a bit? Because obviously, since before our last show, he announced that he'll be leaving City. Taking City aside, we've got to take credit because Aguero is it's an end of an era for both City and the Premier League. We are seeing one of the Premier League greats leave, and there's no way about that. You know, he's been absolutely fantastic, and you know he's certainly in a conversation for your Premier League squad, Premier League 11, and I think the Premier League would be worse off for not having him.
I've had some heartbreak with transfers down the years. When Aguero was at Atletico Madrid, I loved him so much. It was like my Icardi obsession. Yeah. Like my Facebook header was like Aguero in an Atletico Madrid. Like, I loved the guy. And then it was like, City are signing him. And then I was like,
rip the posters off the wall.
Yeah, what happened?
Like Robbie Williams left take that.
It was like I could still enjoy watching him play football. Now I tried to like talk myself into it, like, well, at least I get to see him every week. And then it was Aguero, and it was like, all right, I think we're officially broken up now. I think we're done here.
Yeah, exactly. You've seen him out.
I'll delete the number.
Most iconic moment in the Premier League as well. That I'd say.
Hands down.
I mean, they do overdo it. Yeah.
I mean, United coming from 2-0 down to beat Tottenham on the final day of the season to win the treble is quite iconic.
It's not just that. It's the commentary on top of it, and the you'll never see points difference. And
I'm actually going on the football dugout at 9:00 for a show called "Say It With Your Chest," and I'm going to break down the myth about Manchester United's treble winning season as well.
What's
so
the myth?
That's going to be fun.
Myth? Like it never actually happened.
That is probably the most overrated thing. It's the most overrated thing.
It never happened.
Do you actually mean that, or are you just trying to wind up?
I'm out.
No, I'm being deadly serious.
Gav,
let's wrap this show up.
No, we're not talking about that now. We're not talking about it now. I'll just let people know. And 9 p.m.
Hold on.
Someone get me out of there.
I've got to say quickly, we knocked Liverpool out in the FA Cup with a 91st minute goal. Beat Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final. With the most iconic FA Cup goal ever. 1-0 down. You're mad.
9 p.m. Tune in, and this is what I got to say. And you can sit there on your keyboard and have a nice little type. Before we move on to the final game, the question is on the stand of the last man striker, a dying position.
What about tactic?
Well, Leicester won the title with Vardy doing it. I mean, like, it hasn't worked as well since, has it? Really, but I wouldn't say
It depends
dying.
on whether it's high lines or not. If you don't play out, if you play quite deep, then it's pretty difficult, isn't it?
When Leicester won it with just that though, you got to remember that the rest of the Premier League was in a weird place. Everyone was rebuilding. Yeah. That was the best. I like no, even though it was one of the great, it's probably the greatest Premier League achievement. I don't see that Leicester team winning it in some other seasons. Let me just put it that way.
You
probably
say,
with their points total, they would have won in '99. Carry on.
You can't even compare that. You say that season was weird. Like, it took people 30 games to go, hold on a minute. Are they just putting a ball over the top to Vardy every time?
Yeah.
Guys, how when have you told us this?
Why didn't anyone pick up a Joa? Why is Okazaki running through?
It was every single game. It was like teams were like 3-0 down to Leicester, all 3 goals coming from Vardy over the top pace, and they're like, something doesn't add up here. Like, what's the common denominator here? It was wild.
Well, Arsenal didn't get through that because we beat them twice, and Liverpool were the only other team to beat them. They lost 3 games.
We beat them at home. We got knobbed away. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we beat them 2-1. Woo!
Yeah. Tell them again. Final game. Final game. Leeds 2, Sheffield United 1. Yes. Jack Harrison bagged. I like Jack Harrison.
It was a good game. I watched it. I actually like this. It was actually a good game. Sheffield United, man.
Leeds are just fantastic, aren't they?
Oh, don't. I was talking to Adam about that, the Greek, because I was moaning about Trent getting all the plaudits. Seems like you could talk United, all the press talk about is you, and I was like, coming from Breath of Fresh Air FC, you could win 9-0, and they're like, Leeds were great though, weren't they? They're value for money, but they were good in this game. Jack Yelka scored a quality own goal.
Brilliant.
If you didn't tap it in, Rafinha's tapping it in. But Sheffield United just. It's genuinely just mythical how good they were last season, and just the complete turnaround this season. They're literally the worst team I think I've ever seen in the Prem, bar Derby. It's crazy. Oh, it's all right. Yeah, it's all right now. Henderson dropped the ball, but yeah, it's like all they really lost was Dean Henderson, and they brought players in. They bolstered from the side that nearly finished in a European place last season, and I just don't understand how it's gone so drastically wrong. I mean, do you think it's a mentality issue? Do you think they were burnt out? Do you think they just it was the most overachievement ever? Like, what do you think?
I think it's unlucky. Straight up unlucky because they. Barring 2 games this season, they haven't been pumped. They lose by 1 goal. They lost by 1 goal.
But it's because they don't score any. But it's because they don't score any. Last season, that was the thing. Yeah, they weren't conceding any, but they were scoring 1 or 2 here or there. Now they're conceding loads and just not score. Well, not conceding loads, but they concede every game and just not scoring. Like we've said it before.
Well, they've got Arsenal next week, so there's a chance for them to sort it out.
But it's crazy. We've said it before. Like that, all that money they spent on Rhian Brewster, like that's the maddest. That is one of the maddest. That's a worse deal than us signing Bebe, and I will stake my flag in that. That is a worse deal for the money that it was for, and for like that money, what it could have done to a club like Sheffield United. The amount of players you could have brought in. At like a half-decent journeyman Prem level, and you've decided to put all that eggs in one basket for Easter, for Brewster, and it's just the craziest signing I think I've ever seen.
That helped us get Thiago, by the way.
I know it literally funded a move for one of the best centre mids in world football in the last 10 years. Like that's how crazy of a deal that was. It's mental. Should have got Sean Bean from that one film we did about Sheffield United.
Absolute words and mother.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. That's the film I'm thinking of. Yeah.
So just to run through the last few comments because we're at the end of the show. There's a bit of a scrap in the chat between Alex and Jono. Should we put it up?
Yeah, come on,
man.
then.
Okay, so let's go then.
Hold on,
before
we get started on these, before we get started on the fight, where's our Celtic fan now? Rangers have won the league.
Oh, I think he's probably gone into hiding.
Yeah, Rangers won the league.
We're back first game next season.
Let's get on to this fight.
He's sort of kicking off at you because he's an Everton fan. What do you say? An Everton fan?
What are Everton?
But Jono wasn't happy about it. Jono said, Everton fans, go back into your caves. You haven't won a trophy since 1995. Shut up, which is true. Yeah, Ed, you were born in 90.
I was born in 97, so I've never seen you win.
Everton haven't won a trophy since you've been born.
I've won trophies. I've won Hot Shots Player of the Week awards. I've technically more successful than Everton.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before.
Yeah, we have definitely every podcast.
I've refereed once before.
I was gonna somewhat try and defend Everton here, but if they not winning a trophy in some, I mean, the best thing Everton have ever done is probably buy James Rodriguez.
Yeah. So Jono's replied. Is that Everton fans are the most twisted, bitter fans on the planet, on the face of the earth. Still celebrating that we won an Anfield trophy. Clowns win a trophy. Then open your big mouth. Right. So Alex then said, "Yeah, mate. Don't doubt you'll be back next season and blitz the league again. But Arsenal gave charity goals to Liverpool yesterday.
Agreed.
But then, hey, look." Yeah, it's Easter. It's a time for giving, isn't it? As well, just like Christmas. We are giving you things to do.
In Merseyside, it's usually time for taking.
Oh, burn! Alex said, "Shush, Jono. Can't beat a team that haven't won a trophy. How shit must you be?"
Oh. Won the FA Cup,
beef. Yeah, but
you mean Everton beat Liverpool? I don't know what the characteristics of being a good team anymore, Rob, because people literally go, "You're shit, you haven't won a trophy." And it's like, yeah, but we're the second best team in the league by the table or by this or by that. And it's like, but when was the last time you? It's like, I wish, right? There's a really, 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 really good Twitter account called the Champions League Belt. And they do it like wrestling. So every time someone beats someone, they take the belt off them. So they started this account like years ago, whatever it was. So it was like, and they started with the Champions League winner. So you can have anyone hold it, and then like Inter will hold it, and Inter were the Champions League belt holders for like however many months, and then they got beat by like Spal. So then Spal held the belt, and then
this is what I'm about to say. So does this mean that Birmingham City once had it because Arsenal beat Barcelona, and then Birmingham.
This is where my logic was going with people being like, "You shit, 'cause you never won a trophy." It's like, well, we beat them and they beat Barcelona, and that season Barcelona.
Yeah, it's child mentality. Bragging rights are definitely a thing, yeah. But it's like I already forgot that we lost to Everton because in the league table I don't need to be reminded by it because Liverpool are higher than Everton again. But let's not forget Everton didn't beat Liverpool since 2010, and then next time they beat Liverpool was 2021. It's like you can't even beat an Everton side. It's like we did for the last 100 years.
I'm sat here chatting shit about Spurs and Mourinho like they didn't actually beat a 6-1 like this season. But
it doesn't matter. It's where you are at the end of the season. I don't think Liverpool will. I don't think Liverpool will. But imagine if Liverpool finish in top 4 and win a Champions League.
I think they will.
But we beat you. Who cares?
Yeah. It's such a Spursy thing to say.
Yeah, that mentality is what makes you smaller. If you go London is white because you've finished above Arsenal a couple of times, let me tell you, you're wrong. People who have that mentality are losers.
Yeah, sad.
Not general losers, just like in terms of football. Like I've nothing against you. I respect the hell out of Everton. I do. But when they get in my grill, I'm like, why?
Yes.
Oh yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. It's what I mean about Spurs fans. It's what I'm one of those weird Arsenal fans that, in terms of football on the eye test, because I like football, I quite like watching Spurs because they play nice football. Well, from 2015 up until 2018, they played really nice football. So I quite enjoyed watching it as a football fan. But fuck me, their fans were going on some next level things. We're going to win the league. We're going to do this. We're going to win the Champions League.
You know when Leicester won the league, yeah, and like Tottenham almost did it. I genuinely would have rather Leicester, if Leicester were going to falter and someone else was going to get it, yeah, I'd have rather had you guys win the league and had to put up with Arsenal fans than had to put up with Tottenham fans. Like I've never heard like a fan base that's never won anything. Well, the Carling Cup was the last thing they won, but
2008,
2008. Like we've said it before, but they're so entitled. We're Tottenham. We should be winning this. What? But it's like based on
you shouldn't.
What? Based on what? It drives me.
You
mad.
answered your own question. We're Tottenham. Like,
yeah. I mean, like for me, I think
you could win the League Cup this year, and that's a crazy thing. So it's just the Carling Cup again. So yeah, you are actually living up to it.
Like Arsenal fans, we will bang on about 2004 because we haven't won a title since then. If you notice that this season, you don't actually hear Liverpool fans giving it large about winning the league anymore. And you don't actually hear it banging on about, oh, it's our year next year, it's our year, rah, rah. You don't, because you've won it recently. So you're right now, you're chilling. In 5, 6, 7 years' time, if Liverpool don't win a title in the next 5 to 10, next 10 years,
compete,
then you'll come back and be like, you know. So that's how the cycle goes.
That's true.
Arsenal need to hurry up and win a title ASAP because
I don't care now. Liverpool's won the league. I'll be honest with you. I'll just brush it off.
Premier League years 03, 04. I'm lying. I'm not bored.
You've got to repeat.
Every time it comes on.
Ed, if you're not busy tonight, 9:00, I'm now doing a show called "Why the Invincibles Was Completely Overrated and They Didn't Win That Many Games. They Just Drew a Load Against Shit Teams."
Can you do it? Can you do it at 10:00 so you can watch mine?
You can tune into that.
No, I'm fully aware that the Arsenal Invincibles side was. Well, I've already said it's not even Arsenal's best team. It's not even Arsenal's best team to win a title in my lifetime.
You did get a nice little trophy
season.
for it,
Arsenal's 01-02 season was far better in terms of personnel, in terms of style of play, in terms of everything that we had going than the 03-04 season. We drew 12 games, for fuck's sake.
We should just make a new show where we just talk about the exact same match week from the early Premier League years. So everyone will just be Mars, and Manchester United won 4-0 today.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I'm actually down for that. It's still live. Someone's going to rob our idea.
Yeah. We'll edit this bit out of the actual podcast.
Right, honestly, I'll tell you what. No bullshit. I'm being serious now. And people are listening and whatever. I don't care. What we should do on that, Ed, is exactly that. On the Sundays, same time, we will start from 92, 93 or whatever. We'll start from a year and we'll do a weekly review.
We can get to the birth of me. Like,
we'll start. I'll tell you what. We'll start from when you were born.
Yeah.
We'll start from like 99, 2000 season or something.
Yeah, then I can remember that.
So 98, 99 was that? 98, 99 was
97, 98 was that?
I was born 97, 98 season.
I'll tell you what, we'll do it from when Ed was born. How's that?
All right, well, I need to...
No, technically, actually, 96, 97 season was still going on when I was born. So, you know, I'm still weighing up my options. Like
Newcastle came second that year. Newcastle played Champions League football following.
If I was a little bit older... No, I'm joking.
We're just chatting shit, clearly. So, but I love chatting shit. So, yeah.
That's a good idea, because we can chat shit more in that show.
Yeah. And reminisce.
Yeah, you're going to have a wicked time, you two. And we won again.
Solskjaer just scored 4 goals in 12 minutes against Forest. Literally. That actually happened, Ed, to let you know.
Thanks for letting me know, because I was just nervous.
Right. He came off the bench in the last 15 minutes. And he scored 4 goals they were 4-1 up anyway, and then he scored.
I can't wait to get to the prime Welbeck years.
Mate, I can't wait for prime Welbeck.
Whenever they may be.
You're watching it right now. I'm watching it right now, mate. I'm watching it right now, prime Welbeck.
It's gonna be absolutely incredible. But yeah, as I said, if you guys, whoever's watching live, you feel free to tune into the dugout, football dugout at 9:00, where I debunk Manchester United's treble-winning season. Literally, the heads are going.
The thumbnail. It's just like
it's gonna be me. It's gonna be me going. with
What I love
with steam coming
about
out my
it
ears.
is that all non-Man United fans are like chilling there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm ready for this. All United fans are like, I'm gonna find out where he lives. I'm gonna kill his kids.
I'm gonna edit Cotton's face on Tomac the Tank Engine. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
and then
brilliant.
Gav like, whoo, and the referee's out there.
Whistle.
Gav as the fat controller. Just like,
Oh dear. But I'm Gav Matt. That's Stephen Cotton. That's Ed Hall. You can follow us on all social
Big
media
up.
platforms. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at Turtle Top Football. And if you didn't know already, if you put Turtle Top into Google, our name comes up first. Thank you very much, everybody. Southgate out.
Southgate out!
Yeah.
Yes!
Southgate
out.
Southgate.
I honestly think that at the end of the season, if Newcastle stay up, they should get a statue of Joe Linton.
I tell you what, I thought if they get relegated, I mean, I'm sure they'd sell Joel Linton because of wages and all that, and they want to recoup some money. But I bet you if he played in the Championship, he'd have like a 20-plus goal season, 30 goals. You know how they usually do, like a Dwight Gale, and then just sell him off.
Think Joe Linton, he will be an absolute cult hero. Or he might get death threats because he would have kept.
I think he's going to be a great player
Steve
for
Bruce.
someone else. I think. Like,
What if he scores 10 goals before the end of the season, ends up highest goal scorer than Aubameyang? Oh my God.